Yo, what's guys, and today I'm just going to do a weapon enchant tier list, and let's just get into it. These include the weapons from verse 2 as well. So, the first thing we have here is Sear. Sear, on every single hit on the opponent, it applies penetration stacks, which can go up to 40%, but the thing is, these stacks don't last for that long. It goes up to 40% if they're like not parrying anything. If they parry it once, you're back down to 0, so I would say Sear is kind of mid. Obfuscation, it gives chip damage. It gives a speed boost, is very good for Speed Demon. If you have Speed Demon, I definitely recommend getting Obfuscation. But if you don't, I think this is just a good enchant overall. Heroism on the other hand. If you're amazing at the game, this is S tier. Always get Heroism if you're amazing at the game. You can parry every single attack that is handed to you. But if you're new at the game, you don't have to parry a lot of stuff. Do not get Heroism because this is D tier. As for if you're amazing, S tier. Nemesis. Nemesis is very good. On hit, when you hit an opponent, when you use your critical attack, you will teleport to them, and it works on multiple people as well. This is a very good enchant. And next up is Grim. Grim is kinda mid, I'm not gonna lie. The 20% damage boost you get after 4 hits is useful, right? But it's after 4 hits and only lasts for 4 seconds. And if they're a parry demon, you're usually not gonna capitalize on that. So I do think it's a kinda mid enchant. Gluttony, very niche enchant, only useful in water fights. It is terrible. Anything other than water it's terrible at. Same thing for Metal. Metal is also terrible because most of the time you only deplete their armor when they're like 1 bar. So it really didn't do anything for you. Especially, I would only see it being good against very high HP builds, but you don't see that anymore, especially after verse 2's update. So I do think this is terrible as well. Providence Thorns. This is useless in the depths, especially in layer 2, because you only have to fight 1 mob really in layer 2, and that's the Bone Keeper. If you're actually parrying the bounders, I guess, but you can just skip past all of them. This is only good for Permanent farming. If you're a Permanent farmer, this is S tier, but for everything else, it's kind of mid. Solar, do I have to say anything about this? I don't even want to explain what this does. It's just terrible. Never look at it again and never get it. Stone. Especially after verse 2, this is amazing. Because of the reduced parry frames, this is just amazing now, and I do recommend getting Stone. Bloodthirsty is just a fat 10% damage buff, except the only downside is if you miss an M1, you take like 2% damage. This is a very good enchant and very solid. Storm, on the other hand, it's good. It's not terrible. It's not very good either. It just applies stun in every single M1, and I would say this is like worse than Obfuscation. Okay, now we have one of the newer enchants from verse 2. I'm pretty sure this is the one where it's like Thor Hammer, where you use your critical, it's like sends out your weapon and comes back to you. This is extremely good. It's better than Stone, and it might be better than Heroism, maybe. I do think it's S tier. Same thing for this. When you flourish someone, it sends like orbs on them and does like a bar if they don't parry it. It's very good along with the newer one. Now we have Umbral Knight. Umbral Knight, kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie. It's a 20% damage boost on proc. If you're going for like a high DPS build, get it. But there's always Heroism if you're good at the game. So I think Umbral Knight's pretty mid. Vampirism is very good, very solid, because it heals you every single M1 and also heals your blood bar. It's good in PvE and also good in PvP. So I definitely recommend getting Vampirism. Next up, we have Wild. I never thought there would be an enchant worse than Solar, but there is. Wild is just terrible. Never get this. And now we have our next developer enchant, Unstable. Unstable procs a random enchant on M1 out of every single enchant in the game, except for like first 2 weapons, I think. So I do think this is kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie. It's a cool enchant because it's unobtainable, but if this was actually in the game and everybody could get it, I don't think anyone would actually get this. Astral, on the other hand, is very good for PvE, but it's only good for PvE because it provides no PvP buff. So I do think it's good. I think it's worse than Storm, however. But if you're solely a PvE build, get Astral if you can. Which I don't even know why I say if you can. You won't get Astral. This is a developer enchant basically, and it's kind of good. Tainted Sorrow. It's basically Nemesis, so it just goes right here. On critical, it just pulls them towards you instead of you going towards them. Noif King is kind of controversial. In 1v1s, this is S tier. In 1v1s, Noif King is peak. If you're fighting a dagger user or you're fighting a Bloodthirsty user, Noif King sucks. It's D tier. If you're in a gank, it's D tier. But in pure 1v1s, it's very good. This is a very slept on enchant. And it's honestly very, very broken. So I do think this is very good. I think it's like better than Vampirism actually. Curse of the Unbidden. This is also very good. On every single M1, you drain their ether, and on your critical, it gives you iframes basically. Like you can't be damaged during your critical. It is extremely good, and I think it's better than Heroism, to be honest with you. Shul used to be good pre verse 2, but now it's kind of mid. There's a lot of better options, and I would say it is definitely better than Obfuscation. Blazing, kind of mid, nothing special about it, but it does have a lot of synergy if you're flame, and I would say kind of mid. If you're not flame, it would be terrible, but if you're flame, it's kind of mid. Same thing with chilling, same opinion, kind of mid. Deferred, same thing as Bloodthirsty. It's a 10% damage buff, and yet it has no downside, so I do think it's better than Bloodthirsty. Detonation, it's actually very good for PvE. It like negates their monster armor. It's like a true 40% damage buff, so I think this is a very good enchant for PvE. But in PvP, it's kind of good. I'm not gonna lie. It's every 4 hits it procs Detonation, so I would say it's like worse than Obfuscation overall. In PvE it's good, and PvP it's kind of worse than Obfuscation. Elastic on a dagger is amazing. Elastic on a medium weapon is good. Elastic on a heavy is terrible. So I would say Elastic is like bottom, very good. If you're dagger, this is a must-have, or fist. If you're anything else, it's just good. And yeah, that's my enchant tier list. You may get mad at how I rank some of these things, but I don't care. This is just my opinion. And thank you guys for watching. If you subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And yeah, just subscribe. I would appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.